Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. This is Todd Nilsson, and this is the live stream that I run called Talk About Your Community through Clocktower Advisors. And I am super excited today because it is International Community Day. Hooray! We have, there's a group of us who've been involved with celebrating this as a new event. This is the first year ever that we're doing it, but it's called International Community Day, and it is to support, celebrate, and talk about the future of how communities can be celebrated and strengthened and grown together, especially in times when we're seeing sort of distrust at a mass scale on these online community platforms. Some of the folks that I have on today to discuss the International Community Day, they're coming from a variety of different backgrounds and different experiences all around the globe, and I'm super excited to be able to host this conversation with them. So I'm gonna bring them here in just a minute. Just a little quick housekeeping. This is a live and interactive show, so I will be watching the comments, and we'll try to bring them into the conversation as we go along here today. So please don't be shy about introducing yourself, where you're from, and what kind of questions or ideas may be on your mind. And normally this I run this live stream for about half an hour. I'm probably going to run over that today because we have multiple guests. And I want to give everyone a chance to shine and tell their story and what they're doing and have some conversation around it too. So bear with me as we go through that. Very quickly, some upcoming things next week. I am going to be at the Refocus event that is put on by Grazini Interactive. That's going to be on Tuesday, October the 12th, 11 a.m. U.S. Central Time. I'm going to be on a panel talking about trending tech in online communities. And so, what are the innovations that are happening? How do those impact the culture of community online? And I'm going to be on with a couple of great guests, Tina Amper, Tessa Kay, and the facilitator from Grazini Interactive, Veron Luthra. So if you're interested in registration information about that, hit me up in the comments. I'll be sure to get a link into the comments afterwards. And then the following week, I'm going to be at the Superform event that's being put on by Higher Logic and Vanilla. That's going to be a co-presented event with Eric Johnson, the co-founder of Aurora WDC. And we're going to be talking about tokenomics, the pursuit of community influence and recognition. That is going to be about crypto tokens and how they can be utilized within communities. So a little bit more of a techie topic, but as you know, I like to talk about all of those things. Without any further ado, I want to bring in the guests who are here with me today in no particular order, but I'll bring them on and then give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. Mr. Winnie Ebner, Amadou Diallo, Michael Beschner, and Ryan Anir. Hello, gentlemen, all. It's wonderful to see you all.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, amazing.
So I guess why don't we go around the room here and do a couple of introductions, and I'll give you the spotlight as each of you goes on. Amadou, why don't you introduce yourself first? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what your connection is with community, and why International Community Day.
Thank you very much, Todd. So I'm Amadou Diallo. I am a father. I'm a human, and I live in Toulouse in the south of France. I work in a small startup which is called Airbus. We produce aircraft all around the world. I have always been part of community since I was young. I was born and raised in Dakar, Senegal, in West Africa. Then I came to France, and each time I was always driven to be part of a community. So when I came to Airbus, I was part of a lot of communities in Airbus. We call them ERGs, Employees Resource Group. I'm part of the Airbus Africa community, which is a community of Airbus employees which have Africa in their heart, not only born in Africa. And I am part of other communities with Rainer, and it is thanks to Rainer that I'm here. So in a nutshell, this is who I am, and I'm happy to be here to be part of the International Community Day, because for me, it's all about being with people who have the same mindset as me and who want to change the world one step at a time.
Well, I'm so glad you're able to join us today, Amadou, and I appreciate your perspective. I think you were my first ever guest from France to be on my stream, so wonderful to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Winnie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So this is the second startup, small startup in Germany. So it's Deutsche Telekom, the Magenta company. So I'm in community work since probably 15 years. I did my PhD thesis on community building for innovations, and now I'm happy to build up several communities, internal communities within Deutsche Telekom, to foster communication, to foster collaboration. And perhaps I can talk about the Telecom Ambassadors. It's a corporate influencer community, which we built up since 5 years to foster and to support social media communication and talking about the company and the work within this lovely company here in Germany. So, and the International Community Days for me raise the awareness for community work and how valid and how good this work could be if you really dig into it. So that's for me. I love networks and I love working in networks, and therefore I'm happy to be here.
Well, and you're very welcome here, Winnie. And yeah, I'm definitely going to want to hear a little bit more about what you're doing with the telecom community. It sounds quite interesting. Why don't we turn next to Michael? Michael, great to see you. Where in the world are we hearing from you from?
Yeah, I'm Michael. I'm coming from Pinneberg, that's north of Hamburg in Germany. And I'm working as a digital communications expert at an animal welfare organization called Four Paws in the USA. And in Germany, we say Vier Pfoten, but Four Paws will be more known in the US and the UK. And I'm making all kinds of digital stuff, but I'm also doing the community management and the community building for our animal welfare organization in Germany. And that's why I'm part of the International Community Day, because communities are so widespread. They're everywhere. They're local, they're regional, they're global. And the animal welfare community is a very global community with the same interests. And I like it to connect people and with the same thing they want to do. And I think it could there could be a lot of more communities in the world, because there are so many people that have the same thing they want to do or the same goal they want to go to. And that's why I want to raise awareness for communities.
Yeah, I like what you said there so much, because it's not always anymore about who lives next door to you. Sometimes it's about people who share those values, right? And they care about the same causes, and that's not always the person who's in your backyard. Maybe it is sometimes, but sometimes it's about people that are on the other side of the globe. And they're trying to do the same kinds of things. And I might never have known about you if I hadn't connected through your network and found that common ground and a friendship that can last a lifetime. I mean, for me, that's one of the joys of being involved in community building, kinds of work. So, welcome, Michael. It's so good to see you. And then finally, we have Rainer. Wonderful to see you, sir. How are you, and where in the world are you?
I'm pretty fine. Thank you very much for asking, Todd. I have 1 week of holiday, more or less. I tried to have at least 1 week of holiday, but it didn't work. So it's the next week I will start on holiday. I'm quite near to Michael, so I'm based in Hamburg. I'm living in Hamburg, naturally born Austrian, and I'm working in the same company than Amadou, and we have a lot of things in common when it comes to connecting people with the right heart. So on a topic that is passionate and where the people feel passionate about. So trying to connect them, and in this big ship we're working on, that's amazing to see how fast people can connect and what they can build beside these hierarchical border and I would say triangle. So this circle of communities and flowing, that's wonderful to see for me.
I think that's beautifully put. I truly enjoyed the opportunities to just meet people from all over the world who are trying to connect others, and I find, as I've been thinking about this, there was an article I was reading the other day. I think Rachel Happy had shared it, where she was saying that one of the things that's so important about community is that the work that community builders do is the emotional labor of connecting people. And I think that organizations and companies are now realizing just how critical that is to helping people feel connected to, whether it's a brand, some kind of advocacy work or activity, some cause. It could be a hobby, whatever it is. But it's those of us that are trying to build those emotional bridges between each other swiftly, as you had said. That is incredibly powerful, and I think worth celebrating, because we need, absolutely, man. Yeah, we need to have opportunities to talk about what makes this such joyous work for us, and to help spread the word about that. And the internet is a big part of that as well. So very good, very good. And we just had to join us as well, Kirsten Wagner. Kirsten, wonderful to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm so sorry I missed the link. So I was on, but I wasn't on. So I'm so sorry.
That's quite all right.
I thought a female face is necessary in this panel, I thought, right?
Absolutely. Most welcome. So tell us a little bit about Bind Community Building and where you are, and like where in the world you are, and why International Community Day.
So I'm in Utrecht right now in the Netherlands, and right here we have our agency also, Bind Community Building. We are existing now for 5 years, and we are in the very luxurious position that we can help, I think, 10 to 20, 30 organizations every year with building their communities. So we're always immersed in communities, whether that's governmental, internal communities, external communities. We do a lot of associations also, cultural heritage, you name it. And we're basically trying to help getting the community together. And it's always interesting work. I've been in the fields myself since 2008, and I haven't grown tired of it yet, because it's so dynamic, it's so diverse. Every group of people has different challenges, different needs, even though there's always a red line, but it's always there's always a purpose. And I was very let's say positively triggered by what you said about the connection, right? So it's like building connections. And what I find in my work is that everybody talks about connections, but to be able to connect two people to each other, there is such an enormous skill set that you need to have to be able to do that. To be really like a matchmaker, you need to understand people, you need to listen, you need to talk, you need to catch the signals, and then in the back of your mind, you have to have an overview of everybody that you have talked to, and then you have to be able to make the right match. And when that happens, it's gold. It's gold, because usually it happens, and if it's a good connection, it stays for many, many years. So I also think that this International Community Day is important to realize not only how important connections are, but also what is needed to make those connections possible, because we keep talking about it, but we don't invest enough, I believe, in making it truly happen.
That's wonderful. So I guess an open question for us as a group. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of echo feedback. As far as International Community Days go, this is our first one ever. For me, doing this on my live stream was a way to celebrate it, and to celebrate it with all of you guys, for whom I am grateful that you're able to come. What kinds of other things have you done? Because some of you are towards the end of your day here. What kinds of things have you done to celebrate the day? And this is an open question for anybody. Yeah, Rainer. Yeah.
Well, for me, the most exciting thing was that we had the opportunity to talk to Georg Holzknecht from Telecom as well. And he shared a bit his last years, what they started in the Telecom, how they achieved to bring this silo-driven organization into this flowing community mindset and allowing this to happen. This was amazing for me to hear as a story, and even more amazing was to hear that they are opening up so that they are sharing their self-organized learning tracks with other companies. They are going to share their community building strategy and program with others. And this is really such a cool sign to see that companies are open up and that they're no longer thinking on, oh, this is mine, this is Airbus, this is Telecom, this is Deutsche Bank, whatever. No, it's us. We are sharing and we are co-creating the future. So this was the most energetic thing I did in my day.
That's amazing. I love the phrase co-creating the future. That's such a great term, and I'm also really interested in this moving from a silo to a flowing community. I want to come back to that and talk about that a little bit in a minute. But Amdu, you kind of raised your hand too. How are you? How have you been celebrating the day?
Yes, so for me, the first thing I did is that I took the day off so that I can really be at home. My kids are in the kindergarten and my wife at work. I was alone. I'm alone today at home, like the movie. And then we did this meeting with Björn this morning. I was really very inspired to move from, I think, from the triangle, as you said, from a hierarchical organization to more a circle where we are all around the table. So this was very positive for me. Then I did a small video to share really what is international community day for me, and to try to engage with people like yourself. And being here today with you is also part of my celebration. And it's just flowing in my mind. And this evening, when I'll be writing down my journal, I will try to capture all those cookies and put them in a very special jar that I will eat for the rest of the year.
I love that.
Magnificent. I do too. I do too. Kirsten, any other kind of events that you're celebrating today?
Well, I find it, when I think it was 2008 when I first started as a community manager, and then I felt so alone and so misunderstood in my company that I thought, okay, I have to get a group of community managers together. And I only found like 4 or 5 in the Netherlands at that time that actually I could find on LinkedIn that named themselves something with community. And I remember it gave me such support because all of them were in the same situation as I was. But of course, we didn't know each other because we were all in separate organizations. And today I also took time to go outside because it's a wonderful day here. It's very sunny, which in the Netherlands in autumn, it's super special. So you have to get all the sunshine you can get. I was like outside on the terrace and I was really celebrating myself. And I saw, online on all the social media, people were like, sending me like, oh, happy International Community Day. And I really felt like, oh, it's already a celebration and we have just started. So the realization that it resonated so much with so many people and that community managers, not only in the Netherlands, but worldwide are ready to really embrace this. That for me was like an extreme confirmation that we have to keep on doing this. So.
I love that. I'm smiling because I noticed that when you were saying back when you were looking for other community managers early in your career, I had a very similar experience here in the US, even though there tend to be more community managers around here. Certainly these days, there are certainly a lot. But back when I would look for community managers as, maybe 2010, 2011 or so, it was almost equally likely that I would find somebody who was managing an apartment complex because they would title themselves community managers.
Yeah, can imagine.
Absolutely. Winnie, you want to talk a little bit about the Telecom Ambassadors and sort of what you're doing with them right now?
Yeah, but firstly, I want to reflect on Kirsten, because she said,
Please.
you're totally right saying, oh, we have to understand, we have to listen, we have to talk. And talking to Georg was like, we sometimes simply hold the space. And for me, it was like today we had a pioneer group with 8 people starting a new community. And I try to explain them that I'm not the guy giving the topic, driving the content. I'm the guy holding the space, and then they start to understood. So for me today, it was like having the space for them, having fun and connecting the people. I really liked your sentence, Todd, of we do the emotional labor work for connecting people, because that's what we really do. And especially within business context, it's so hard to give people the time to emotionally connect. So it's the methods are simple. You have to have different check-in questions. You have to really give people the place and the security that they open up. So, and what we did with the Telecom Ambassadors, like we started 5 years ago to really try to bring people together with they're proud to work for this lovely company. And then firstly, bring them together. Don't give them goals. Don't give them anything else. Just try to bring them together. And after several attempts, we start to I said all the time, start with the people, not with the vision. And then we started with the people, we bring them together, and therefore organically this community evolved over years. And by now we start to have an international community with over 220 people from all over the world. And it's really, I get goosebumps if people start to saying, oh, it's not only Telecom, it's my family. And then I was like, oh no, that's so much bigger for some other guys that I'm really sometimes think, oh, what have we built there? Because for example, we have the T-Mobile US, which is internally not very connected to the headquarters here in Germany, in Bonn. But the people, they want to work together. So we started with probably over 20 or 30 people within the T-Mobile US, people from the stores, and they're talking to the store managers in Germany, in Hamburg, or in other cities about their work. So I'm really happy to just give them the space that they start to talk to each other on a personal level, and afterwards about how to make sales and how to interact with our customers. So that's really, if you don't get the connections by bringing companies together, just bring the people together, and the company will follow, or the organizational structure will follow. And therefore, for this organizational change for companies, communities are, I would say, one of the cornerstones to do it. Otherwise, it won't work. You can bring together departments and say you have the same boss, but it won't work with the people if you don't bring them together, for example, within these communities. And the Telecom Ambassadors especially are from all departments, and we really can solve every problem within the community. I'm really there is one WebEx Teams channel, it's just named Help, and there are so many questions and so many answers. So I'm pretty happy to be within this community and gave them the space that they can get to know each other in such a way.
I truly appreciate how you term the organicism of what you're doing. And it's based on the individuals first, and letting sort of the mission and the vision emerge from the interactions of the people first. There's a beautiful community builder. I don't know if you know her or run into any of her work. Her name is Sahana Chattopadhyay, and she's a poet and a philosopher, and has worked in online communities for some time. And she talks about that sort of emergent, organic design for community building, thinking about communities as living systems rather than as something that needs to be constructed like a bunch of Lego blocks, right? And
we are building trust.
We are exactly. I love that very much. I do.
You can just give the space that trust can evolve, and I'm pretty happy. I would be pretty happy if you share the contact with me, because I should read her text.
I think, yeah, I get great inspiration from her. I think she's wonderful. I'll be happy to share her with everybody on the chat here afterwards.
Yeah.
Awesome. And, Michael, I don't think we've heard from you. What kind of things have you done around International Community Day today? Oh, I think you're on mute. There we go. Oh, did we lose you?
I guess it's the mic. You have put your mic up. You probably need to switch it down.
I can hear you now. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, now it works. That's the way.
I think there was a little latency there. It's
yeah.
okay.
No. It was just my fault. So what did I do today? I worked. I did a lot of community works today because I had to do community management for my company, and that's what I did in the main time. But I was outside too because the weather is fine. And what Winnie said, it reminded me of my time back in Bavaria when I was co-host of a bar camp, and that's the same. The people come to you, they come to a place, and you give them the space, and you welcome them, and you feel them heartwarmed, and that's where the feelings come, and then it works, and everybody will come. And he says, we had so many people there, and says they were like, oh, I don't know if I make a session, if I talk to others, I don't know if I want to do this. But you welcomed them, you gave them their badge, and you said what they can do and what they cannot do. Most of the things you can do, there are no don'ts. And at the end of the day, and we can shift it every time, and at the end of the day, there was a small community. Everybody talked to each other and helped each other out because there were questions, but there were knowledge, and everybody shared. And that's what makes communities so valuable, because you share your knowledge. You share it because you want to share it, or because somebody wants to know something, and you say, oh, maybe I know. Let's test it out. And that's what I like in my daily business, in my daily life. I like to share knowledge. I like to get knowledge, and I like to test things out. And that's what communities are. And when I think back, when I was a small kid, the community was just a street where everybody knew each other, and that's it. And then there came the school, and then somewhere 1998 there came the internet. And now we have communities all over the world that are regional, that are global, and that help each other out. And I think that's a point where you can say we have to celebrate this on one day this year. And I think that to know that there is a day, and we celebrate today in a small group or in a bigger group, and it grows like communities do, that's a good day today.
Wonderfully said. We're in I think a pivotal moment in the ways that communities come together and are built. Thanks to the internet, we're no longer tethered to just physical spaces for communities. We have this greater opportunity for fellowship and community building through these online tools and platforms that bring us together. And I feel like now there's some really exciting things that are happening that have broken down the barriers between sort of the live face-to-face and the online world of community building. Increasingly, I feel like they're the same thing. And it's just that they're blended together. Some people talk about it in terms of the metaverse, that it's both in person and virtual, and that these things feed off of each other. And there's power in that. And increasingly, that we have communities of communities, where there are interrelated communities that grow and learn from each other. And for me, it's one of the reasons that I stay excited about, how technology is enabling this new world that we're in right now. So grateful for your perspective, and absolutely I'm really interested in others' perspectives on this as well. Kirsten, I saw you nodding a bit as I was waxing poetic about the online and the offline.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I'm part of a community called Seeds, and it's based on a cryptocurrency. They have their own cryptocurrency.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all about regenerative life. And they have this great program where you have like meet the citizens, right? So they're members and you sign up for it, and randomly you're being matched with all kinds of members. You can find them, I think, seeds.org.
Okay.
And the other day I was talking to a man from a refugee camp near Rwanda.
Wow.
And exactly, wow. And he's talking to everybody from the Seeds community, you know, and they're in the States, and they're in Latin America, and they're in Europe. And he's creating this worldwide community that is helping him with donations through cryptocurrency for him to, for example, level up education in the refugee camp, because there's only one school for, I think, 150,000 people. Nobody can learn anything because the classroom is overcrowded, teachers are tired. But it's for so many things. It's also for teaching people how to grow their own vegetables, how to work the soil. And it's mind-blowing what communities can do, especially when it's about cryptocurrency. So he is, you know, accumulating these seeds, and you know, it's just a matter of time, you know, when he can actually, you know, make them into real money. But they already have a value, and there are no banks in between. There's no, you know, things that are not possible in Africa. You know, if you want to donate money, there's always a party in between. So it's just opened up a world of possibilities. And that's why I was nodding, like, exactly, it's going so fast right now, because we see all these initiatives using the same, you know, technology and elements of community.
I'm thrilled that you brought up cryptocurrencies, because I'm really interested in sort of how this space is evolving right now with NFTs and you know, creating those tokens as ways to give people equity in communities.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued about that, as well as DAOs, the decentralized autonomous organizations, where nobody centrally owns information or ability, but it gives all the stakeholders a vote in how these organizations develop. This is brand new space, and I'm super excited to see what comes of it. Amadou, I see you nodding emphatically. Is there anything you wanted to add to that experience?
Yes, I think for me, I'm from Dakar, Senegal, West Africa, and I see when we are talking about refugees, all that, a lot of people coming from this part of Africa trying to reach Europe, all of that. And I see a lot of startups here in Africa which are harnessing the power of technology, cryptocurrency, and really, for example, banking via mobile phone is something that have been in Africa, like in Kenya, some remote part of Africa a long time ago, and it's just happening now in France. Like, it's a revolution here. So really, for me, this is what communities are about. It's also to shed a light on another reality. We are talking about the metaverse, creating a new, let's say, reality, a new world. But often there are some parallel universes between what I see, I live here in Toulouse, France, and what is happening sometimes in Africa. So for me, being connected to those people and seeing what is happening there and how they are trying to leverage what we call the fourth digital revolution, I'm really excited to see how people in Africa, for example, can harness the power of cryptocurrencies to be able to build new systems that they don't have the physical infrastructure to do. So it really is something exciting. And the cryptocurrencies are really this possibility, as you said, to have something decentralized where everybody can contribute. And this is really something very, I'm very excited about that also. I like to learn, and this is really exciting. And I'm keen to see where we are going as communities, how we can harness, let's say, the power of cryptocurrencies to have more impact. because we are what in a world that which will become, I will say, more digital, between physical and digital. So this is the new reality thanks to or because of COVID. So I think our lives will be between the physical world and the digital world. And for me, this is really where we are going. And being in a digital world gives us more possibility to have an impact on the other part of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I've only recently heard people talking about the Fidget Tool, the physical and the digital as a combination. And it's an amusing word, but it's so apt to what we're doing. There's a blending that's happening right now that is so powerful, and I'm glad we've got the capabilities to do it. It's helped us to get through the COVID pandemic, for sure, which we're still fighting with. But just the potential of all of these new technologies coming into play now. It's not just about an old school discussion forum online anymore, or the ability to text each other, or even sit around in WhatsApp, and have those conversations. It's about truly empowering people using these technologies, and I really do love that.
And Todd, it's what I had the feeling right now is that's not only for the geeks, because they are using the technology in a different way and they are connecting themselves with some text forms. Now everyone, at least in the last 2 years, has learned how to use the technology and to transfer it to their needs, that the connection around the topic is much, much easier. At least is what I see in our global business, that people are now really so easily to be connected when you create this physical or this digital space.
Absolutely, well said. Sorry. So so Kirsten, you shared the Join Seeds.
It's not easy to find. That's why. But it's interesting already from a community building perspective, like you said, because they're building the community and the organization as you are there. So they have very structured discussions, about what the community should be like, where they should head towards, because it's totally decentralized. And it's super interesting to see how they deal with it. And it's also interesting to see how slow the process goes. So it's endless talking, and everybody is being heard. And it's very confronting also with yourself, because you think you're still in this world, the old world where we have to get results. This world in Seeds is a new world. So it's interesting. It's very, you learn a lot. That's why I'm sharing it.
No, thank you for that. So, go ahead. I thought I heard someone was going to join in. Anyways, so I'm really intrigued by this. So the idea of having people chatting and not necessarily having a set goal for that, and talking about these things emerging organically. There may be some organizational leaders or executives who see something like this and think this is a really soft or squishy sort of topic. But I would argue that it's not. And in fact, it's so critical for organizations of all kinds to be convening these kinds of conversations and connections, because it has to do with the resilience of those organizations over time. That by enabling these connections to happen, by enabling T-Mobile shop people to connect in the US, to connect with shop workers in Germany, there's something powerful and useful about that. And it's about connecting what seems to be unconnected, but it's building, I think, a kind of resilience in those spaces, resistance to stress, especially at a time when we've seen how fragile things like our supply chains are, or how easy it is for people to start seeing themselves on different sides of topics and to be fighting with each other. It seems like such an essential thing that is overlooked as a soft skill, and is something that's that's nice to have, but not something that's critical to the bottom line return on investment of an organization. Curious what you guys think of that.
So I will start as nobody is really ready. I think, Todd, I make a parallel yesterday in a post on LinkedIn to say, okay, for me, a company is like an airplane, and an airplane needs 2 engines to be able to fly. You have the standard organization, the left-hand side engine, and you have the communities on the right-hand side engine. And this is all about, as you said, first to be more resilient. So resilience, to be able to resist, let's say, rafales, we say in French, or gusts, something like that, to resist the wind. It's also about redundancy and resilience, because if one system fails, the other system is there to sustain the aircraft it can fly. So really, for me, this is all about communities. And I think often now there is also a lot of debate about climate change and things like that. And if we look at nature, we see, for example, trees that create a network that communicate together in a specific way. So I think we as humans also, we have to step back and say, okay, we are part of nature. So for me, community is like this big forest, and we are all trees, and we all transfer energy from one person to another. So this is really what community is about for me.
But
no, just what I add, if you think about resilience, it's like we are building connections between peoples, and the next reorganization put them in a different order, but it doesn't matter anymore because they're connected and they can work together. And we do that, especially in Germany. The next reorganization is there, I'm sure. But if you connect the people, it doesn't matter anymore whether they are new organized depending on new market needs. So I think this building the connection between people and knowing the competences and the fears and the loves of the other guys really helps the resilience of an organization and give you much more power and speed than reorganization every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but that's interesting because it's like Todd said, when it's about community, the association is usually fuzzy, warm, let's all cuddle, peace and love. Like how can that, add to objectives or increasing our profits? And the way you're saying it, Winnie, that's exactly what it is. You just become more agile, more ready for the future. It's just everything becomes easier. But I more and more start to realize, because first I used to say, oh, it's the company, it's so vertically organized. The company is making it impossible to create a community here that can communicate with the company. But then I worked with some startups, and even with some startups with really young people, and then still it wasn't really easy. So I am more and more convinced that on an individual level, people have to believe in the value of connection or the value of believing in abundance. That's what I was also writing today on LinkedIn. Our society, especially the Western society, is so based on fear. And, like Amadou said, it's so wonderful if you can just be yourself. Most people, they don't even know who they are. They're just imitating somebody else. So I think for us and for organizations to start valuing the connections and communities, we have to first value in ourselves that we need them, that we are nowhere without them. So it's a discussion really on a really large scale. And, I believe that worldwide, we're moving towards a different level of consciousness. And that's why you see communities are emerging. It's like technology and consciousness, they're coming together with a new generation that says, fuck it, we need to do it now. And we create the momentum. And that's why it's so thrilling, I believe.
Absolutely. No, I don't. I think we were all stunned by the eloquence of what you said. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering, we're running a little bit low on time here, and I'm wondering if maybe we can just kind of each of us go around and offer one takeaway or something that's maybe occurred to you in the course of the conversation today, or some thought to leave everybody with. Because I'll just start off by saying I'm so grateful for you all and to have the chance to know you because of this day. Because I don't think I've had deep interactions with any of you, prior to this, and I feel the richer for having heard your perspectives and things that you're doing, and my hope is that this is the beginning of an annual get together for us. But let's not wait a year for it, but to continue celebrating these ideas and to finding ways to connect with each other and the communities in which we serve. So that's my big takeaway for the day. Rainer, do you wish to maybe take up the standard next?
Thanks, Todd. Really like to build on what you were saying. For we, when we started the discussion on how to start something around the community day, then it was growing, and now I'm thinking, like, where is this space that we could offer to all other communities, that they can connect themselves, that they are seen, that they can build connections on their own. So this is at the moment really taking a lot of my brain. And yeah, that's my main takeaway, that I'm happy to work with you somehow to create probably this space for other communities, that next time they feel comfortable, they feel secure enough to co-create something with us. And yeah, so then I'll hand over the pen, I guess, to Michael.
So you think because now my microphone works. What I take away from today is I always knew community managers in Germany because we have a community camp in Berlin every year. But I was never thinking about people outside of Germany. Expect my colleagues in Austria or Switzerland or USA I'm working with for PAWS. But now I see there are so many different communities and so many different community managers and community builders, and there are so many different roles. And what we have all together is that we're working on a project, on a big project, to make the world a little bit a better place and to help others to do the same. And that's what I take away from this day. And I want to have this day for the rest of my life, every year on October the 8th, to celebrate and to connect and to make the world a little bit better. So
awesome.
I think next, Kirsten.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's a huge comfort for myself personally. It's a lot of fun because being in this call and very spontaneous, and I'm so proud of us, and I see that many just like us, they want to join. So I'm happy that we have the LinkedIn space at least, and we are keeping an eye on each other and the things that we're doing. So it would be wonderful if we could grow a little bit more towards next year. And it's brilliant. So I'm very grateful. Thank you all. Amadou. Oh, Winnie.
Thank you very much. So for me, my takeaway from this conversation is that I feel more energized at the end of this conversation than before. I was already at some level. Now I am like here, and and also the one thing is takeaway is for me all about knowledge, meaning that knowledge is something that I can give to someone else, but I'm richer after I give it away. So I think what we are building here is really a community of knowledge, and we are trying to put it as a common knowledge for humanity, like kind of a Wikipedia of communities. So I'm humbled and honored to be part of you, and I'm eager to see where we are going from here. And I hand it then to Winnie.
Yeah, thank you. What can I say? I would say I'm pretty happy and I'm privileged that I have the possibility to do this community building works as this. I like this word, Todd, of emotional labor work to connect people. And it's really a privilege to do that as a job. And I'm pretty happy, and I'm pretty happy to talk to you the last couple of minutes. I hand over to Todd.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. We're getting some nice comments in the chat feed from some folks. Shout out to Danny Weinstein, great to see you. George Holknuck, great to see you. Bernard Schmid, all friends, and thank you for joining us in this celebration here today. We're really glad you're here. Yeah, for me, this is about new friends, and what I truly love about this is I think that so much of the community work that I've been involved with has tended to be focused in the U.S. and the U.K. And I think expanding those borders and moving out beyond this, I would love to see International Community Day embrace not just the countries that we represent, but even beyond that. Let's hear from people from India, from South Korea, from Japan, from Antarctica. I want to hear from community builders all over the world on this day, and talking about the things that bring you joy and supporting each other in the emotional labor that we're doing. And as we move forward, we're all stronger together for it. We can help overcome the tide of negativity and division that has so plagued the online world. That this is a rallying point for those of us that want to make a better difference in the world. And I am so deeply I'm going to cry here. I'm so deeply grateful for you all, and for you guys joining me today. So here's to the next International Community Day. And I look forward to just more interactions with you all in the year ahead as we come together again and again to build together.
Thank you so
everybody.
much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Todd, for the invitation. It was great.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to end the broadcast now. For those of you joining us, thank you so much for coming. Let's keep the conversation going. I do try to answer everything in the chats. I just can't answer LinkedIn directly while we're doing the chat, but we will see you out there online on LinkedIn and elsewhere. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.